As Chelsea opened talks with the agents of both Victor Osimhen and Benjamin Sesko, I thought it might be a good idea to compare the two strikers to figure out which one Chelsea should get this summer. Of course, I have covered both Benjamin Sesko and Victor Osimhen extensively on the channel, providing in-depth detailed breakdowns for both strikers, which will both be linked in the description down below. But this video is a kind of shorter video comparing the two and just seeing which one, in theory, would be a better signing for Chelsea. Starting off with Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen, of course, Napoli striker. He is 25 years old, stands at 6'1", and he is the winner of numerous individual accolades for club and country. Now, Victor Osimhen's total career goals for club, not country, but for club, stands at 114 at this point via transfermarket.com. Now, one way I'm going to be comparing Victor Osimhen and Benjamin Sesko is comparing their average minutes per goal over their careers, along with average minutes per goal over this current season. So for Osimhen, over his entire season, he has played 15,960 minutes for club. And then to find the average minutes per goal, I have divided the total amount of minutes played during his career by the total amount of goals he's scored. So that's 15,916 divided by 114, which gives me 139.6 minutes per goal for Victor Osimhen over his entire career. Now, for this season, this comes to 2,449 minutes divided by 17 goals scored again this season in the 23-24 campaign. That's 144.1 minutes per goal, actually less than his career average of 139.6 minutes per goal. Now compare this to Benjamin Sesko, who's 20 years old, 6'4.5", very tall striker, of course, plays for Leipzig, very high ceiling, and is being looked at by numerous clubs around the world, including Chelsea, of course, Manchester United, Arsenal, AC Milan, and I'm sure there's a number of other clubs who are keeping an eye on the Slovenian striker. Total career goals for club, 78. 78 at 20 years old, not too bad. Average minutes per goal over his entire career, which spans 9,329 minutes. You divide that by 78, that gives you 119.6 minutes per goal for Benjamin Sesko over his entire career. This season, he's actually improved upon his career average. Average minutes per goal, 23-24 season, 1,966 minutes played. Divide that by 17, which is the amount of goals he has scored this season so far. That gives you an average minutes per goal of 115.6. Nearly 4 minutes less per goal than his entire career average. Now, I have used Data MB, something I have used on the channel beforehand, in order to compare the two strikers. I'm going to start off with last season, which of course was Victor Osimhen's best season in his career so far. At the time, Sesko was 19 and Osimhen was, of course, 24 years old. And as you can see, they are incredibly similar, considering that was Osimhen's best season. Again, they played roughly around about the same amount of minutes. That season, Sesko played 3,314, whereas Osimhen had 3,370. He was playing at Salzburg, whereas Osimhen was winning the league with Napoli, but still, they still managed to play around about the same amount of minutes of football. As you can see here, non-penalty goals, Osimhen is sitting ahead of Sesko along for expected goals. But on every other area, except maybe offensive actions, they're either incredibly similar or Sesko is doing better. So for aerial effectiveness, for received passes, expected assists, and passes into the box, they are both very similar. Of course, Sesko, 5 years younger than Osimhen, and of course, not having anywhere near the same amount of quality around him at Salzburg, he is still keeping up with Osimhen in terms of his individual output. Now, compared to this season, there is a bigger difference in terms of their metrics. However, it could be argued that Sesko's is more impressive. He is, of course, standing further away from Osimhen when it comes to received passes. His aerial effectiveness, again, he's 6'4.5", 6'5" feet tall. He is going to be incredibly useful in the air, winning headers against midfielders and attackers, winning headers in the box from corners, crosses into the box, or just long balls played up for him to head down to build an attack. Non-penalty goals, he is in fact ahead of Osimhen this season, sitting in the 97.8 percentile, whereas Osimhen is meandering around the 85th percentile. Now, one stat I would like to bring to attention right here is the expected goals stat. Osimhen is sitting quite high at 94.2%, although his non-penalty goals is 84.7%. When you compare that to Benjamin Sesko, who has an expected goals of 68.4%, and you compare that to his non-penalty goals of 97.8% percentile, you can see there is a drastic difference in terms of their actual output compared to their expected output. Sesko has been far more lethal this season compared to the Nigerian. Now we move on to the release clauses. Victor Osimhen has been touted with joining many clubs recently, and it has always been a very high fee quoted. We have his official release clause in now, and it sits at 130 million euros. Compare that to Benjamin Sesko's release clause, which sits at a now increased 75 million euros. Previously, it was 50 million or 43 million pounds, but however, taking into account his incredible form this season, it has risen, as I said, to 75 million euros. Now, in favour of Osimhen, arguably, he is more well-rounded than Benjamin Sesko. He's more experienced and would probably acclimatise to the Premier League easier compared to Sesko. He has proven himself to be capable of being the guy to lead the line in a title-winning team, whilst also achieving the endorsement of a number of Chelsea legends, including John Obi Mikel and, of course, Didier Drogba. His heading accuracy and leap is excellent. In fact, he currently holds the world record in the Serie A for the highest leap leading to a goal, beating the famous Cristiano Ronaldo leap that has been seen so many times before. Osimhen, in fact, broke that record. His heading accuracy, as I said, is excellent, and as Chelsea create a lot of chances through crosses, Victor Osimhen would thrive in this Chelsea side. However, Osimhen has shown that he is not incapable of having off seasons, whilst also dealing with a number of injuries throughout his career that has kept him out of action for prolonged periods of time. Chelsea have other areas that they will be wanting to address come this summer, and perhaps spending 130 million euros on one area could be considered unwise. As for Sesko, he definitely falls in line with Chelsea's current recruitment strategy. Buy them young before their price skyrockets. There's no denying Sesko has the hallmarks to become incredibly dangerous in front of goal, but as with young age comes inexperience and rough edges, and with the Chelsea side in desperate need of refinement and balance, is another 20-year-old the final piece to this complex Chelsea puzzle. He is, of course, a lot less expensive than Osimhen at 75 million euros, potentially saving 55 million euros, which could go towards signing a new left-back or goalkeeper. Alphonso Davies has been linked with the move to Chelsea, also Real Madrid, but he has been linked with the move to Chelsea, and with an asking price of 50 million euros, perhaps we could do a better deal of signing Alphonso Davies and Sesko instead of just signing Osimhen for 130 million euros. Killing two birds with one stone. In my honest opinion, I think Sesko would do incredibly well at Chelsea. For such a tall player, I'm surprised with how well he is able to maneuver the ball to get round players or retain possession under pressure. Both strikers are more than capable of being active pressers in the opponent's half, although I would say Sesko is a little bit more involved in the overall build-up of an attack, which may benefit players like Nkunku and Palmer, who would be attacking in the half spaces, adding to their lethality in the attack next season. So, who's the better striker? I think I'd be correct in saying that at 20 years old, Sesko is a far better player than Victor Osimhen was in 2019. Osimhen is, of course, has age and experience in terms of winning titles over Sesko, which cannot be ignored with such a young side yet to really accomplish anything of note. Sesko is more prolific in front of goal, that is true, this season and over his career, and one of the big factors that has plagued Chelsea's strikers is consistency in front of goal. I would say Sesko has a slight edge over Osimhen in that department. However, a lot of the chances Chelsea create seem tailor-made for a striker like Osimhen, a poacher who knows exactly where to be and when to be there. So, in my opinion, I think Sesko for 75 million euros might be the wiser deal, considering Chelsea do need to invest in other areas, and when you look at the metrics, when you look at his proficiency in front of goal, and when you look at his overall game, I think he would do incredibly well at Chelsea. Not saying Osimhen wouldn't, but I'm just saying you'd be saving yourself 55 million euros. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Victor Osimhen or Benjamin Sesko? As always, if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe. I've been the Quick Take, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.